considered lucky among cultures. The number 7 has significance in different facets of life, mathematics, symbolism, the fact that, it's a prime number means that, you can't split it. You can't divide 7. It's a baseline number in that sense. But anyway, the point of this video, and I'm going to upload another video soon to add context. But the point of this video is to demonstrate a principle, which is that it's possible to see beyond light. And humans have something called a third eye, which gives you a visual connection, or at least an awareness of higher dimensional existence. So it's like this thing that you're connected to, you become super aware of it, and you feel like you've known about it for your whole life. And what it is consciousness. It is the substrate of all life. And it's within every individual life form. So this is the first key. This is the first dot on the 7-sided shape. You know what I'm saying? Many people believe in sacred geometry so to sum up their genesis, without going into great detail, which I would love to do, a zero dimensional, point, or, world, or whatever existence sort of made its way, around, and it took the path of a circle, or the beginning of the circle. He realizes he's at the end of the circle, and that's the beginning. And this crossing of its own path creates a harmonic of awareness. So that's how awareness was spawned, by the universe going in a circle. And, but that's just their viewpoint. My point is that if you look at a lower dimensional thing, like when you drop an apple and it falls straight to the ground, what you're seeing is evidence that real energetic systems can have only certain dimensionalities. And so transdimensionality is a concept that's already right there. And if you've ever hallucinated, I believe what's happened to you is you have seen a 5-dimensional thing with a manifestation in a temporal existence of 4D. Because hallucinations aren't permanent, because they're not made out of baryonic material. There's no fermions, there's nothing keeping it solid. So, 7-faceted meditation. The thing I mentioned that that you feel connected to, it's one key. These are keys or puzzle pieces. You are a key. Everyone is their own key, and no one has to even think about this stuff. Some people go their whole lives not even pondering whether or not after death is a thing, whether or not, astral projection is a thing. Death is a key. Memento mori. We all die. Everyone who is born dies. One key is death. 2, he is you. 3, he is reality. And we know reality exists, right? We don't have to explain why. But reality is a parameter for quantum possibility. It's like a funnel that brings infinity into observation. You know, you can't escape reality. I mean, until you die, maybe you can, or temporarily. But that's why I said temporal, was because hallucinations and stuff from the other side don't permanize in 4D. One key is it, the thing that I keep referring to, and that's the only word that you can use for it. I mean, it's consciousness, it's God, it's all encompassing, it's the fundamental root of reality. Where you look till you zoom in all the way and the physics break down and you can't explain past the Planck length, there's a whole field of divisibility to the infinitum. You know, you can infinitely divide consciousness. It's not bound. It's not the smallest thing. It's, well, you get to the smallest thing and then you realize it's on the other side. They're not connected with physical laws. All right? My point is that once you understand the 7-faceted meditation, you can vibrate your brain with a mantra or with a vowel shape in a pulsating way to give yourself higher dimensional awareness without taking chemicals. You know what I mean? That's all that shit is. And YouTube algorithms keep giving me these DMT blows your mind and sends you to hyperspace. Harvard scientist explains why it's real, you know. And so I've been adding a little bit to my theories recently. I look like I'm not sleeping well. So, anyway, death is the key. And you are a key, reality is a key, you know, this consciousness is a key. So 3 keys remain, and really one of them is a color or a hallucination, you know, or a synchronicity or a message from a dead loved one, some kind of evidence, some kind of hinkering that you have or whatever. You know, if you really want to believe this, try using that experience that happened to you as a ticket to get past. Look out there, but it's okay. And once that comes in, it's just on the other side of it. You know what I mean? Just beyond the shit that's outside of you. Some people are in their heads. They're not even in the outside world. Beyond the outside world. Okay? But you have to know the other side and this side are one and the same. Okay? And that's the key. The hat is of equal significance to the hypercube. Without one, the other could not exist. Life. Okay? Death, you, God consciousness, reality, physical reality. The knowledge, the structure of, you know, knowing something makes that something possible for you to perceive. So if I didn't know that people smiled when they were happy, I would just look at somebody smiling and think that they were trying to show me their teeth. You know what I mean? You have to understand in order for energy to have structure in that vector. Therefore, you must learn. Okay? So, death, you, reality, it, and understanding. So, if I have a house floating in space, and the house keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger ad infinitum, any observer who's watching this happen, unless they saw the beginning and are going to stay for the whole infinity, they're only going to have a bandwidth or a amount of observable parts of this. And if it's expanding at a constant rate, they're not going to know it's expanding. Okay, so another parameter has to come in, the color. Okay, the color of the house has been changing the whole time, and you didn't know that yet, but now you do, and so you've unlocked this perception and this other parameter of change. You have to be the one that decides to do this meditation in this septagonal, hexagonal, seven-pointed star, seven-pointed shape, in order to have a trip like this without psychedelics, you understand? Or with, but all your energy is going to be spreading in parts of your brain that is going to create a loop, all right? And then the loop is its own thing. So you can add to it, you can pull from it, and this is a higher resonance level of communication. And inner brain communication causes perception of things that are beyond fight or flight, that are beyond the central processing of everyday information, the default network mode. So if you know these 7 things, I believe that you will have access to hyperdimensional experiences. All right? So there's this thing that exists called consciousness, and there's this thing that exists called you, and there's this thing that exists called energy, and there's this thing that exists called structure. Okay? And if you know that there's a bridge between worlds, and if you know that energy can prove that these worlds are one and the same, you're set up. You're set up. Because that's all you need to know. All you need to know is that life and death are one and the same. Infinity is all that exists. It's what you are. And what we think reality is vastly different than what it actually is, which it's a parameter. Reality is nothing but the actualization of infinite possibility being funneled into an event. You know what I'm saying? It's a parameter. When you throw a ball up, it comes down, okay? That is what reality is. Situational. It governs things that are always happening. That's all. That's all. The way I finally figured this out is I prayed to my dead great-grandma, and she gave me a sign. She told me that the 7th seal on heaven is like a locking mechanism, and I already kind of knew that, But trust me, you can turn the lock and the door's not going to open for you. Window might come open, but until you die, that seventh key can't really be put all the way into place. Which is why psychedelic mind states are temporary, at least as far as my knowledge goes, because if you could just access hyperspace at any point, nobody would do anything, because why would anybody ever want to do anything else? uh, but yeah,